rolling. The silver and black conversation starts right here. Hot takes, real fans, no filters. This is the show where Raider Nation speaks. So crank it up! And show me your shit!
Hey, we're back with another edition of Show Me Your Shield, Raiders First Downs, here with Donuts. Duncan, what's new, brother?
Oh, not much. Just excited to talk about football. Have all this training camp going on and different news left and right. Finally get to talk about new stuff.
Yeah. The pads get going here pretty soon. I know the training camp is heating up. The weather's hot in Vegas. It's hot here today, too. A little 102, I think, is what we hit here. But some good things are coming out. We're gonna touch bases on all the stuff that we've heard today. Some really interesting, some stuff we haven't seen yet, or heard, I guess we could say. They don't really show us much. I know Kubiak's pretty stringent on no media during the 11-on-11 period, or at least no digital media, no cameras, none of that stuff. So I haven't really got to talk to you much about what you think so far. I know you've been busy working and all, but knowing you, how you keep up on things and what you miss, you gather up later with your information. So what's your take so far?
So far, I'm really excited with Dennison and the offensive line. I mean, they've moved guys around constantly. They tried Glaze at left guard. Looks like they're still going to keep him at right tackle. Trey Zune and Meredith seem to be like the backup centers. So hopefully Zune beats him out and is more of that rotational guy, that extra seventh lineman. Looks like Grant's settling in to be that true backup left tackle to take over for Miller. So I mean, I'm always excited about the offensive line. I'm an offensive line guy. And then on the flip side, on the defensive line, hearing players doing well. Saw that both of our rookies from last year are starting to step it up, and they're getting first and second string reps and are actually providing some decent pressure during practice. So that's nice. I mean, obviously pads aren't on, but like to see young guys doing well. And then even our our 7th round pick, Cian Sloan, he's getting first team reps.
Yeah, I saw that. And you know what's interesting about him is, from a physical standpoint, you watch him, speed, agility, power, things like that. He's got a good build to him to play defense at 6'3", 240, real quick, twitchy. It just makes you wonder if he's one of those guys that all you have to do is get to the pros and he becomes a different animal.
Yeah. And then even our young defensive backs are looking like they're putting out and actually competing and fighting for their spots. Seems like Porter's been like the one consistent with the ones, opposite of I'm gonna mess him up. Stokes, I believe. And originally it was Porter and the other tall athletic corner that we have on our team who's been with us. This is gonna be his 3rd season. I'm forgetting his name right now, but it seems like Massis went and pushed him down into the set 2s, and Massis is rotating in with the 1s now. So like that's exciting, seeing rookies doing that. And so far it seems like McCoy's settling in, getting better, so he might be starting to push up that depth chart to try to get a starting position. So it's just looking exciting. Like we're seeing stuff move around and people actually competing, unlike last year's slogan. This year they're actually doing it.
I think, were you talking about Decamerion Richardson?
Yeah, Decam. Yes,
Decam.
Thank you.
Yeah. I had high hopes for him last year. I thought he was going to be a breakout guy last year, and he literally
got hurt.
Yeah, but he still, when he was healthy, was getting pushed down.
Well, he was pretty much hurt the majority of the preseason and well into the season. And then when he was healthy, it was already too far gone to where he wasn't going to catch up with how Pete Carroll was pretty much playing guys.
Nah.
So it just kind of added into like another young guy who's not getting reps.
Yeah.
But I think that overall that was okay though, because Porter, he had his ups and downs, but I think he consistently got better. And it seemed like he was a slow starter type of player. By the end of the game, it seemed like he was playing better and better.
Yeah. Let me buzz through the report for today, and then. But before we do that, let's get to the chat, because these are the guys that drive our show, that get us to do what we want to do, and have that conversation. But before we start debating and arguing and doing all that other funny stuff, let's recognize those that are in the chat. First up on the board is Izzy on Wheels. I made it in time. Yes, you did. I hope you stick around, because it could get better. I have a funny feeling. Better. Yeah, I have a funny feeling this show is gonna be rock'em sock'em here in about 20 minutes. Jack. So for those of you guys who don't know, it's Jack You Off Fest is how you say it. Alex, thanks for coming in, and keep an eye on Alex, man. He could be a front runner tonight for the best chat of the night. He's been fire. And then BDQ's in here, Business Decisions. If any of you guys haven't seen his show yet, go to that link right there at Business Decision Sports at youtube.com. Hit his channel up. He's putting out a bunch of great content right now. He's working his butt off on his Raiders channel, and the dude's legit, man.
He was the gentleman that you had on with you on Friday, right?
On Friday, yes.
Black the quarterback.
Black the quarterback.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's got his head on straight.
No,
I agree with all of his opinions, but they're definitely well thought out, and I can definitely respect them.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely one to, and he's the same as us. Well, he's same age as me, though, and he's got a show coming out Friday, Fight or Flight. It's supposed to be a heavy debate style.
I'll have to check that out then.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that one. Rorschach is in here. Rorschach Raider 24, one of our OGs. I believe he's on your channel, so if you want to throw him a wrench on your end, because he's already wrenched up on mine.
I don't have anybody wrenched up.
Yeah, he'd be a good one to wrench up on your channel, and he will definitely pimp your channel out to other people too. He's done a good job of that. But Rorschach, salute to you. The Skipper's in here. Salute to you, Skip. Had fun last night. Hope you stick around and have some fun with this. Let's get this dialogue going. Once again, Rorschach. Michael Guerrero. If anybody needs a campaign manager, it is Michael Guerrero. He will get you elected at any office that you want. If you want to be president of the United States, you hire him. He'll get you in there. And that's pretty much it. Right down here, it's funny you say that, Donuts. I was just talking to my people about getting you to school me on the offensive line. He's a very open-minded guy. I mean, he actually is out absorbing a lot of new people, meeting a lot of new people, and getting different perspectives, and he's enjoying it. He's having a great time doing it, and he's a really good dude, man. So, grew up in the Bay Area, lifelong, diehard Raider fan. He's like only 7 months younger than me, so we come from the same era of football. And so let's dive into that. Let's talk real quick. I'm going to blow through today's notes. All right. So they had that. When they finished practice, the overall telltale sign was it was not a pretty day for the offense. And here are some of the few takeaways that we have. Cousins connected with Bowers in a few big plays, and offense will go as far as Bowers takes them. I think we pretty much know that, right? Mendoza underthrew Malik Benson on a deep ball, leading to the ball being broken up by DeCamerion Richardson in a 7-on-7, and during 7-on-7, he was picked off by Greedy Vance. It was his first interception at camp. Darian Porter took most of the first-team reps at outside cornerback. Jermod McCoy is looking more comfortable each day. He spent a lot of time with the twos today and had a pass breakup early in practice. Quay Walker would have had a sack on Cousins in a live situation. Excuse me. J.J. Pegues also recorded a sack on Mendoza. AOC threw a touchdown pass to E.J. Wilson during the 7-on-7 period. It was arguably the best play of the day, or at least at one part of the camp. Here's the one we were just talking about, Cian Sloan. He was with the ones, running with the ones. And obviously things will change when pads come on. We get it. But if you look at the physicality of him and his play at NC State, he was pretty good.
Yeah. That NC State defense had some really good players. I think there's 2 or 3 of them that got drafted this year.
Yeah. Now, I think, but the totality of it, they were a garbage team.
Yeah.
So usually when
NC
you're on a
State
team that doesn't have a winning record, you don't get scouted as heavily, and there's not as much emphasis from other teams to come look at you. Yeah. And then lastly, Kieran Crawford quickly jumped into the backfield to record a tackle for loss on Roman Hemby while playing with the twos. Apparently that was kind of what they're expecting out of him. His quick twitch, able to decipher the play and avoid the block and make a play in the backfield, which he did a lot of that at Auburn. He was pretty good. Who was the edge rusher that came out of Auburn that went in the first round this year? I'm trying to think of what his name was. I could picture him. I just can't think of his name. But the same scenario with these two guys was the same scenario that I portrayed with Miami last year with Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor. Everybody was Ruben Bain, Ruben Bain, Ruben Bain. He's this, he's this, he's this. And then you go, yeah, but when you watch them, that number 3 stands out just as much, if not more, than Ruben Bain does.
Yeah.
And it was like, he is dirty in the pocket. He's getting tons of pressures, and he's sacking the quarterback probably at about the same rate, So it was, and then on the flip side, what I'm trying to compare the two is at Auburn, kind of saw the same thing with Crawford and that other guy that went. Can you think of his name for me? We know who we're talking. He was an elite edge rusher that went top in the first round, went high in the first round. I don't want to look it up right now. All right, so you got Rorschach is dialed in with the wrench. Excellent.
Yeah.
So, out of all of this, what?
Keldrick Falk.
What's that?
Keldrick Falk.
Yes, Falk. There you go. So out of all this, what we heard today in today's practice is the consensus is Cousins, and there was some zip on his ball today. And yes, it's practice and they don't have pads on, but you can still start to see a little bit of what's going to transpire when the pads do come on. The speed at which they're playing, the route, the timing of the routes against the defense, because even though they're not tackling, they're still hitting. They want to hit. They're hitting each other pretty hard with their hands. I'm sure there's some guys right now that's got some bruises and some knots and stuff, even though there's no pads.
Well, definitely in the trenches. I mean, those guys need to start building up that toughness. The sooner they get it, the better off they're going to be for the season. Yeah.
And in the secondary, too. I mean, just because they can't tackle the guy when he catches the ball, they could still, work on their technique, their positioning.
Their hand fighting.
Pass interference is still pass interference without pads on. So making sure that they're not getting too handsy downfield past the 5 yards, and all. And I always, even in OTAs and stuff, really the only people that really do benefit from OTAs is the secondary and wide receivers and the quarterback, because it's all timing, getting that timing down. And they still got a pass rush. They're still rushing. They can't hit the quarterback, obviously, but there's still a pass rush, which in turn triggers that internal clock. So it's still going to be somewhat similar. I mean, they're doing the best that they can to simulate an actual game situation at this point in training camp. So, but like I was talking about earlier, Kirk Cousins is apparently Kirk Cousins, so who we thought he was. So, being accurate, delivering the ball on time, reading the defenses properly, getting people lined up in the proper positions, calling the plays. It's like riding a bike. This offense is going to be like riding a bicycle for him.
Yeah.
So,
and having a good quarterback back there that actually knows the offense is just going to get the offense up to speed quicker.
Yep.
And there's going to be growing pains every time you have a new coach, but having Kirk back there is going to help alleviate some of that pain. Rorschach coming in saying, what I know to be true and what I'm looking forward to seeing us, the competitiveness and attention to detail. Remember, this is going to be a process. Absolutely.
Yep, exactly.
I think the majority of us realize that this is kind of a rebuild year. Well, not kind of. It is a rebuild year. But at the same time, they're going to go out there and try to win with everything they have right now. And it may not look pretty early on, but hopefully through the process and Kubiak sticking with it and continuing having the guys filled in by the second half of the season, hopefully we can start stringing together some wins to give us that light at the end of the tunnel for next season. Mm-hmm. But there ain't no throwing in the towel for this season. They're going to go out there and they're going to compete and they're going to do their damnedest to win. Yep. It's just they got to learn how to do it.
Yep. What I don't see this year is the experimenting. Like last year, it seemed like they were experimenting with a lot of stuff. So this year, it seems like everybody's got a position. They know where everybody's role is going to be. It's just a matter of the total function, especially along the offensive line. They know where everybody's going to be on the offensive line. It's just a matter of incorporating certain pieces. And they would be negligent right now, especially right now in training camp, to not go. I always use it. We have 1s, 2s, and 3s, right? Starters, second string, third string. But there are those guys that are 1.5s.
Yeah, they're rotators. Yeah.
They're 1.5s. So those guys need to get just as much playing time with the rest of the ones as what the guy that you're presuming is going to be the number one. So you're going to see a lot of Spencer Burford. You're going to see a lot of Rogers, and you're going to see a lot of Zune. I'm confident in that you're going to see a lot of those guys folding in with the number ones, with the Linderbaums, Millers, JPJs, and even Grant at right tackle. Probably see a lot of him. And we said this way back when. I wouldn't be surprised to see that kid take the starting right position. If I was Charles Grant coming into the offseason, that's like, I can take his position. I'm going to do everything I can in the offseason to get better to take that position, because I think I could beat that guy out.
Yeah. I think it's a possibility, but I think it's more likely he ends up taking over that left tackle spot, whether Miller gets hurt or they move on from Miller. Mm-hmm. I think that's more likely. It really does seem like they're consistent in believing Glaze at the right tackle position, and I don't see that changing anytime soon until his contract runs out, maybe. Mm-hmm. I understand why people dislike Glaze or want to move him to left guard. Like I'm one of those where I've spoken about moving him to left guard just because of his play style, because he truly does struggle at that against speed rushers. Like that's his weakness, is he's got concrete feet. He's stronger than a bull, but you can get around him. And that's why during his rookie year, when he was consistently having tight end help, he looked good because he didn't have to worry about that speed rush. One little chip from the tight end and Glaze handles him.
Yep.
Last year, he was left on an island. And lo and behold, most of the pass rushers on that side that he went against last year were speed rushers. And
the high dollar Ferraris he was going against on that right side quite a bit throughout the
yeah,
year.
I mean, between the Chargers and the Broncos right there, you got 4 games. And then the Chiefs with their linebackers, how they'd play their linebackers, like they're making it happen too. So right there, 6 games out of the season, just within your own division, like they know how to get after that guy. And there's plenty of other very talented pass rushers in the league that are speed rushers. And it kind of seems like that's becoming the norm in the NFL right now, is fast, athletic guys that can bend is what the standard is right now for the defensive end. So unfortunately for Glaze, he's got to learn how to start getting a little bit of happy feet, or he may end up needing to move to the inside for his career.
Yep. I think OB even mentioned it a few months back that it probably would be best just to do it, put him in the interior instead of trying to put a square peg through a round hole. But yeah, his rookie year, I mean, you're absolutely right. There's a lot of chip, a lot of outside leverage help with him. So you didn't see the slow feet because they were able to slow the initial rush, and he can get into position. And like you said, he's so strong, it's hard to just bull rush him.
Yeah. You're not outpowering him.
Mm-hmm.
He is an ox.
Yeah. Yeah. And he also was missing the inside move quite a bit, too, last year. He gave up a few sacks on the inside move, too. So that has a lot to do with his feet, his hand placement, and...
I don't want to blame him a lot on the inside stuff, because it seemed like there was a lot of miscommunication going on the inside. Because there's plays on the other end where Miller and Parham are all reach blocking outside, and then there's a guy that goes straight free from Meredith because the communication was wrong. And then there's quite a few plays where it looked like the defense runs a switch, and JPJ completely whiffs and doesn't even hit the guy.
No.
And Glaze perfectly takes his guy and controls him outside. So across the board, the O-line was terrible. And I'm not going to sit there and put the blame on one guy in Glaze. Like, the line across the board was atrocious.
Yep. So far, what we got in training camp is getting hot in the desert.
Yeah.
Do you see any position battles heating up that really got your attention?
Not really. It seems like quarterbacks pretty much made up their mind, or they're making it seem like it. Maybe trying to get Mendoza to work a little bit harder to really earn it. Because Kubiak, I believe it was on Thursday or Wednesday, he talked how Kirk is the guy. And he's hoping that Aiden and Mendoza can both push him forward and compete with them and really help them drive each other.
Which is what you want anyways.
Yeah. Really, for me, it seems like the real battle is kind of in the cornerback position opposite Stokes. It looks like Porter's pretty much got it right now, but it seems like Massis is really making that push. Like I said earlier, he pushed down DCAM to the 2s and took his spot, so he's fighting right now. And then it's only a matter of time until Jermod McCoy really starts pushing for it too. Once like they're confident he's feeling good and has got his groove back, because I think we were talking the other day, like he hasn't played actual real football since January of 2025.
Yeah, he got hurt in January of 2025.
And then he missed all last season.
Yeah. Now I was under the impression though last year towards the end of the season that the last couple games he could have played if they needed him to.
He started practicing, so I think it was more of a comfort level on him and maybe the coaching staff. But is a good thing that he started practicing, because that means he's a lot further ahead of the curve than what some teams may have thought.
And my impression of the reports that we're getting on him right now running with the twos is not a performance issue. That's not why he's running with the twos. It has more to do with they're monitoring him heavily. You know, he's getting, I bet you he's getting poked and prodded after every practice.
Yeah. Well, they want to do what's best for his career, because if he really does work out, I mean, could have possibly be seen as the best player in the draft this year if he never got hurt.
Yeah.
So, they sit there and take the time and really do what's right by McCoy, and it could pay off thousandfold. Like, he's that great of a talent.
Yep. And when you catch something like that in the draft, you just got to be careful. Don't try and overdo it. But I think there's going to be a point in time we'll probably see after the Texans scrimmage and preseason game that they're just going to take the training wheels off of him and just say, go play football, dude. If he's not coming out every 2 or 3 days right now with any type of setbacks or anything like that, and then we get the pads on, we see how he's doing with the tackling and going to the ground and getting up and things like that, and there's absolutely no issues whatsoever. They take him, they examine his knee, see where the condition of his knee is, and see what the condition of him is as well, from a mental standpoint. And if there's no, and sometimes there's going to be a point in time where the Raiders are going to go, okay, we're not even going to talk to him about it no more, because we're probably doing him more harm than good with this kid talking about it. Just let him go play and just say, here, if anything happens, call me, right? And then we'll go from there. But just go play. Just go play football, because he's such a natural at playing that position. You saw it at Oregon State when he played at Oregon State. He was a monster.
He definitely separated himself from the rest of the team.
Yeah.
Even that young, there's something special brewing, and Tennessee was able to hop on that.
Yeah, he was an SEC elite playing in the Pac-12. That's what he was doing. It was man amongst boys, the way he played at Oregon State. So when he went to Tennessee, it was nice to see. Nice to see him playing at Tennessee State. He made a lot of plays, man. A lot of plays. It was like, you talk about a sticky cover guy that is, and got the attitude to bring it with him and back it up. If that knee, knock on wood if you're with me, if that knee is healthy, he is going to be something special.
Yeah.
So we're talking about I'm gonna kick back to the beginning of what I read with Kirk Cousins, and what do you make of them making mistakes in practice at this time of year?
Mistakes are bound to happen. It's don't keep making the same mistake. It's all about making those mistakes, figuring out what went wrong, ironing it out, and making sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
If the same mistakes keep happening, then there's something wrong going on. Whether it's the player not buying in or the coaches aren't getting through the player, just something's wrong. And that's when it's time to pause, figure it out. And is it go to the next player? Is it trying to change what you're trying to teach? Mistakes are going to happen. This is the time to iron them out.
Yeah. Hey, welcome in, Frank Weber. Thanks for coming in, brother. Appreciate it. Rorschach here. I know what we're going to see through preseason is going to be vanilla, but how hard they play through the vanilla is going to be very interesting. That's kind of the key to preseason and preseason games. It's not so much the nuts and bolts of the game, but the physicality of the game and how people are you taking it serious. And usually it's those guys that are fringe players that come out, and I always look for that one guy that I root for. to make the team. Going back to when Katie Williams made the team, it's like you watch the guy in preseason. It was like, oh, we got to keep him up. He needs to start at linebacker, and I think he started like 2 games for us, and then it was like, no, he's not that good. And then he went to Green Bay, and then shortly thereafter he was out of the league. But it was fun to watch how he made himself in preseason, right? So that Sion Sloan, that's one of those guys that you kind of root for to make the team.
And with him already getting some reps with the ones, it seems kind of promising.
Yeah.
Because he's really the only D lineman on the roster that's like a true nose tackle. Because Butler is kind of like our nose tackle right now, just simply because he's the vet and he kind of can play a few different roles. Mm-hmm. But as far as being a true nose tackle, it really is just seeing Sloan. Yeah.
I haven't heard too much about Cleveland, though. I was hoping he would beat out Adam Butler. I'm kidding. Yeah, people are running with that. Don't clip that. Don't clip that. You guys are going to start, this isn't CNN. We're trying not to come up with fake news. It's just good fun. But yeah, we were watching that video earlier, and I still got it playing in the background of, if you guys are going to critique our quarterbacks based on mistakes that they're making in preseason, you might want to hit the pause button on it. Because, number one, they're going to make mistakes. They're going to make mistakes in the game. Mm-hmm. They're going to make mistakes in the game. They're going to make mistakes in practice. This is just, like you said, it's how do they recover from that mistake, and do they make that mistake over and over and over again? But I want to show this. You knew I had to do it, dude. You knew I had to do it. Is the golden boy, Mr. Kermit the Frog, from our so cherished rival of Kansas City Chiefs in practice. If none of you have seen this yet, you gotta see this. This is a guy that is Super Bowl champion, MVP. He's the golden boy of the NFL as far as quarterbacks. Yeah, he's coming off an injury. He'll be back. He'll be the same Pat Mahomes before too long. We'll be bitching about it just the same way. But this is funny. This is absolutely funny. The center was wide open. How's that happen?
Forgot to let go of the ball.
Yeah. So yeah, I saw that. I was laughing harder earlier. Trying not to do it to kill the show, but if any of you guys have seen that, good night, man. That was something else. Seeing that, you never expect that out of a Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, like I said, it's gonna happen. It's training camp. Like, mistakes are going to happen. Like, they're expected to happen. It's what do you do after it happens?
Yep. And you expect the defense to be a little bit more dominant at the beginning of the preseason as well.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the start of every season, it seems like the defenses are just that much better than the offenses, and it takes half the season for the offenses to really start churning.
Yeah. That's why I think getting away from more preseason games, you're going to see the quality at the beginning of the regular season. It's already like that now. You really don't see true good quality football, and this is across the league, till about the third game. It seems like those first 2 games, it's the refs are out of sync, the coaches are out of sync, the players are out of sync, the tackling. There's sometimes you'll watch a game and it's like there's no tackling in the game whatsoever. It's like they're bumping into people and they're falling down. There's and I wish they practiced more. Do I think they should do double days like what we used to do back in the day? Looking back on it, me and BDQ were talking about this other day about when we were playing high school football and so on and so forth, and having double days where you start at 9 o'clock in the morning, you go for 2.5 hours, then you have a break, and then you come back in the afternoon, about 2-3 o'clock, and you lift weights and watch a little game, watch some film or whatever, and then you go back out for a full padded practice. And at that point, it's complete uniform head to toe. And we were talking about that, and I said, does it really benefit somebody to do that twice in one day? Can't you? Because it seems to me like you can still get the same effect with one practice. Because I saw with our team in high school, we had better results once we went to single day practices after, like, we went to single day practices the week before the scrimmage, and then after the scrimmage going into the first game, when we got into our weekly routine where Monday was shells, Tuesdays was full go, Wednesdays was full go, and then Thursdays was special teams and prep and final prep. And Tuesdays and Wednesdays were brutal, even during the regular season, because we would hit and we'd hit and we'd hit and we'd hit.
Yeah.
You know, from even warming up, we're hitting, to individual drills we're hitting, to team drills we're hitting, and even in when we did conditioning at the end of practice, we were hitting, you know, running 20 yards and tackling a bag, or running 20 yards and tackling, you know. So it just, but I would like to see the football game get back to that somewhat, because the quality of the game is diminishing.
Yeah. No, I think increasing the amount of padded practices helps. They don't necessarily need to do the double days, but they definitely do need to have more live hitting. Mm-hmm. And whether that comes in the form of like going and having joint practices with more than one team, like in separate weeks or whatever it is, you just got to hit. Like, you really got to get your body's conditioned for the hit, the contact. Offensive linemen, especially, and defensive linemen, because they're just constantly hitting each other every single play. And the less conditioned you are for it, the more it really takes a toll on your body, and the more exhausted you are after the fact.
Yeah, you got to callous the body, and it's everything: your shoulders, your elbows, your wrist, your feet, your knees, your hips. All that stuff has to get calloused up, and then once you do that, you'll have the season will be easier as it goes on.
Yeah.
You know, your recovery time is going to be a lot easier. You know, even from Sunday to Wednesday it's going to go quicker if they were to do that now. If they were to, you know, every day we're hitting. You get 3 days of non-padded practices to start, which is cool. I think they should do that. But by the fourth day, it's pads until the start of season. Even if it's for an hour and a half a day, it's full pads.
I think it should probably at least be 4 days a week. Because you also kind of want to try to condition your body to be used to the football season. So you have your Sundays where your game time is full speed, full blow. And then Monday's kind of rest recovery day where you're going through walkthroughs and film study and all that, and the game plans on what you're going to be doing that week. And then Tuesdays you're hitting again, getting your body refreshed with the hitting. Wednesday, have a little bit of live action where it's like maybe half the practice or whatever, you're going full bore, and then the rest of the practice is more game planning, installing, maybe film review for your opponent.
No.
And your Thursday, Fridays, you're starting to slow it down a little bit, have light contact just to keep your bodies fresh. Saturdays, your travel day or whatever it is, if you're playing Sunday again.
No.
So I think keeping it kind of consistent in the preseason's fine. They just need more hitting than what they're doing now.
Yep. That's just it. Probably just a touch more. You know what I mean? Will help.
Yeah.
Will help the quality of the game, and it help with a lot of these injuries too. You know, because when they get the pads on Wednesday, I think it is.
Yeah,
the guys are going to be juiced up, and they're going to go at a different speed, trying to get after the guy lined up in front of him. And they're not going to. There's no more half speed, 3/4 speed. It's full tilt at that point, and the injuries are going to happen. We're going to have injuries in training camp.
Yeah.
You know, I in a roundabout way, if we don't, then we're not practicing hard enough.
Yeah. And it's also a great time to actually figure out like these guys on defense that seem to be really stepping up or looking good or better than expected, if they really can keep up. Because like Massis, I mean, it was pretty common knowledge like the guy can cover really well, but he has tackling issues. So hopefully he can get those ironed out and really make a serious push to be a number one cornerback.
Yeah.
Because that's only going to make our team better. Is we having more of those guys that are actually capable of stepping up on the field for Sundays. Like it's going to raise the bar of your floor.
Yeah. Most
Yeah,
definitely.
Dixon
Dixon,
Snyder.
yeah. Welcome, brother. Welcome.
I
love the picture.
picture.
Oh my God. I'll leave that up there for just a second, please. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Now, for those of you that don't know, the old guy with the big old mustache, that's 401 Raider Jeff, and he's a known don't draft Mendoza guy.
Yep. Yep.
That's a great picture.
Good job, Dixon. And of course, the skipper likes it too. So thanks. Yeah. Thanks. Remind me to be on your good side because I hate to see what you can do with me.
AI can do anything on the computer.
AI can do anything on the computer if you just do it right. Sometimes they could be a little goofy and do things wrong, like put Jeffrey Dahmer glasses on somebody when they're not supposed to. Sorry, Jacqueline. I didn't mean to do that.
No, my wife's laughing at that one.
Yeah. I apologize. Not my fault.
No, there was a good laugh in the Discord for your Friday show for your thumbnail on that one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was... I got to the point where I was like, I'm just leaving it. Just leave it. I ended up accidentally creating a couple thumbnails that had nothing to do with Raider football.
Yeah.
And I'm just literally pissed off at my AI for that. I'm like, what are you doing? This has nothing to do with football at all. And I'm sorry. And then it generates another one, and then by the end of the day, it was like, oh, I'm sorry, you're out of credits your credits will reset on August 6th. And I'm like, okay. So, but getting back to football, little silver and black football. So we talked a little bit about the Kirk Cousins thing and Fernando and AOC and the good thing from what I'm hearing is the quarterback room is not the issue this year.
Well, I mean, it's definitely better than it was last year.
Right. Or the year before. The year before with Minshew and AOC as the two primary quarterbacks in the room, you heard it every day that none of the insiders would come out and say they look like trash, but they were just like, yeah, not impressive today. Not impressed at all. You know, just things like, I mean, you could just hear it, and then if they were on video, doing a video report from, you could see it on their face. It was just like pure disappointment that this is not going to be pretty. So Frank Weber, he's saying that Jeff isn't anti-Mendoza. He just wanted to see Spy Tech cook. All right.
Well, I mean, every Sunday, Jeff and us, all of us, we're going to be rooting for the Raiders every Sunday. So
exactly,
at a point, it stops mattering because we're still going to back our team and we're going to support them. Yep. It's just fun to give shit when you can. Yeah. And hopefully Mendoza proves us right so we can remind Jeff later. Because we sure as shit know he'll remind us if it don't work out.
Nah. And that's just it. And in the long run, if it doesn't work out, okay. Try again.
Had to take our shot.
Try again. You know what I mean? It just, my take on it this whole time has been we just have not even tried to fix the problem.
Yeah.
You know, we keep doing the Band-Aid thing. Or let's go get a veteran backup and make him a superstar. Just because it worked a couple times doesn't mean it works all the time.
Yeah. Exactly. Business decisions.
Exactly. Exactly.
Bleeding that silver and black. Yeah.
Yep.
And Frank knows.
Yeah.
Minimum 20 draft picks. But anyways, getting back to like the news and stuff this year, like what has you most excited so far?
Hearing the second year guys step up. Hearing the JJ McGee's, the Tonka Hemingway, you're really starting to see that they're coming out of their shell, so to speak. Got some confidence, got a little confidence in them. Yes, pads haven't come on yet. I get it. But we saw a glimpse of it with Tonka last year, towards the end of last year. And that led a lot of us in Raider Nation go, why weren't we playing him more through the season? Right? Yeah. Same with Caleb Rogers. Why weren't we playing him more? He's doing fine. He's doing good. He's doing everything that you would expect out of a rookie. Yeah, he's making mistakes, but he's a rookie. Play him, right?
Yeah.
But now I'm not going to do that with Mendoza. That just because he's the number one pick and he's a rookie, you need to play him. Because when you start doing it with the quarterback, it's a little bit different than running backs, guards, tackles, cornerbacks, receivers, right? They need to play. When you're a top first or second round pick, you need to play. Period. The end.
Yeah. No, I mean, the way I see it now is like I've personally fully bought into this coaching stuff. I've been a big fan of the hire ever since it happened. And whatever they decide to do with Mendoza this season, I'm fine with. Like,
yep.
I have confidence in this coaching staff and doing it right. And like, just to go into how much like excitement I have for this coaching staff, the thing that got me most excited was during Kubiak's presser, where it was Max Crosby was brought up and him wrecking practices again. And Kubiak is the first coach we've had since we've had Crosby that hasn't either joked or like kind of scoffed at Crosby or crying about Crosby ruining practice. Kubiak sat there and basically said, like, no, this is great experience for us because we're going to go against great players on that side of the ball every single week, and we got to figure out how to game plan against them. So he's treating Crosby wrecking practice as like an actual game time experience, and like, how do you need to play against it? How does it change your play calling? How does it affect how you need to change your blocking? Like, is there specific plays that now we can't call, or do we just need to change how they're blocked a little bit? Like that has me excited because we actually have a coach that wants to take a negative and turn it into a coaching moment. Like, we have not had that.
Yeah. Yep. Got some new guys popping in here. Kenneth, thanks for coming in, brother. Great call last night. One of our regulars, Frank Weber, is in the house as well. Dixon Sider, obviously, before. Got a lot of competition. Rorschach has already set the groundwork for tonight's chat and his comments. So if you guys think you got what Rorschach has, you're going to have to bring it because he's on his A game tonight, guys. So, and if you don't believe me, go back and look at some of his comments that he's made. Money Chuck, salute to you, Money Chuck. Money Chuck's in the house. Thanks for coming in, brother. Really excited about Genty. Mendoza, we have to give him time. And 20-plus carries a game consistently from Genty. We should see if he's the bell cow we saw at Boise State. Yeah. I've had this discussion with other people, and they kind of called me out on it a little bit. But I feel bad because it's like, yeah, it was there. They took the ball out of his hands last year quite a bit. Two of the games right off the top of my head, without going back and looking, is the Denver night game and the Jacksonville game. The Denver night game, he had 69 yards rushing, but he had a 37-yard called back, right? But he was still moving the ball. And instead, when we came out in the second half, we had 2 drives at 3 and out of Gino trying to throw the ball, and the excuse was, well, the score was starting to get out of control. We lost by 1 freaking score.
Mm-hmm.
The score was not getting, when Pete Carroll said that was utter bullcrap from the even the guy that asked the question was like, you guys were only down by 1 score. What do you mean the score was getting out of hand, or the game was getting out of hand? So it would have been perfect to keep giving him the ball to keep the game at hand. But anyways, that's last year. Like me and BDQ said the other day, it's like, dude, I don't know why we're talking about last year so much, but we are. We just need to get away from it. Use it as an example and go on. Let's move on, man. It's going to be hard to move off of last year. You agree?
Hopefully no. Hopefully this season gives us hope and we don't completely forget about last year.
Yeah.
But we need some actual football games to make that happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And Dixon Sider, one of the reasons why he said he didn't want Gentry, because we knew we weren't ready for him. And that's absolutely true. That offensive line was not ready for him, which in turn was a lot of the reasons why some people didn't want us to draft Mendoza, because the offensive line wasn't ready. I think the offensive line is going to be a little bit more ready than people think this year. It's going to be, even if we are the 15th best offensive line, that's like the biggest turnaround of reinventing an offensive line probably in the history of the NFL.
No. Nope.
I mean, it's just even
look at Seattle last year.
Yeah, I know, but we were the 34th. Literally. We were the 34th best offensive line in the NFL last year.
31st, yeah.
So I mean,
no, but this coaching staff literally did this with Seattle last year.
Yeah, I know.
Seattle had the 32nd offensive line. Mm-hmm. They made one addition in Gray Zabel, and they became a top 15 or top 10 offensive line.
Yep.
This last season, and won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Like, I have full confidence that this coaching staff's going to be able to figure out this offensive line.
Yep.
And guess what? If this offensive line still sucks, now we know we need to get a whole bunch of new players on it, and we may be drafting offensive line all for 4 first rounds. Like,
next year, yeah. If it doesn't turn around.
But just, we got to give it time. And it's not going to look pretty early on. Like, even Seattle, it took them quite a few games to really start clicking. This offensive line needs to stay healthy. They need to get used to working with each other. It's only going to improve the communication, and it'll eventually get better. And then if it doesn't, okay, guess what? This offensive line ain't it, and we need new players.
Yep.
But,
in which we should be drafting an offensive lineman all the time anyways, no matter what.
Yeah. Business decisions saying, Kubiak literally said we had to plan practice around Max.
Yeah.
And it's just that's also going to help our offensive line better. Okay, when the defense has one like special defensive lineman, they're going to know how to game plan and play around playing against that one special player. It's just going to make us better.
Yeah. Also, too, on the flip side of that is not harnessing Max will also condition him to get home more often.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a lot of the times when we're watching the games, he's just like, just a tick, And is that because of previous regimes harnessing him in his practice, because he practices so hard and so fast, and he's disruptive, and it's a blessing to hear that out of Kubiak, because he is such an offensive minded guy that he's gotten to the point. It's like, if you don't want him wrecking your practice and making you guys look fool, do something about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna tell that guy on our team not to try hard. That ain't happening.
Playing against those practice heroes and actually beating those practice heroes makes you better.
Yeah.
It's just going to allow you to be that one step quicker, one step better, where it's going to make you good enough to block those Chris Joneses or any of the other top talent that we play against every single year. Like
Yeah.
it, it's just a breath of fresh air having a coach talk about it, down to earth football. This is what we need to do.
Yeah. I nominate Dixon Cider to be full on blue button. My brother has good takes, and I know he'll pay it forward. Yeah, I will take care of that here shortly. Yeah, nice to see Dixon Cider here on our channel. It's pretty cool. I feel privileged, I guess. I don't know. Anybody see Bueno?
He's probably fighting his fridge right now.
Yeah. Yeah. There's an expiration date on the milk. Just follow it.
Yeah.
But no, getting back to what we were talking about with the Max Crosby and the practice habits, and we saw that, like, even with the Josh McDaniels regime, there was that video of him just jumping down Malcolm Kutz's, you know what, for breaking up a play. And my first take on it is, wait a second, why are you doing that? If you don't want him making that play, I would get on the tackle, not on your defensive end, because if you want to run your offense against error to practice, just run it against error. Let your defense go tackle each other and get, juiced up over there with them. But there's two sides to that thought. I get it, but I'm one that you practice like you play like you practice. So, the best thing to do is practice as hard as you can and as best as you can. So, Real Shot, come back in. Please, yes, hit those likes, subscribes. Go over to Duncan's channel. In the pinned chat is his link. Hit that and sub to his channel as well as to mine. I'm creeping up to 500. 500, we'll do a special little thingamajig, and then... but if I could get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of this year, JD will make it big. He'll make it happen. Trust me, I'm not afraid to make good things happen. So Dixon said, yeah, I had to take a vacay. Yeah, we all kind of did take a vacation from the YouTube thing. It was kind of nice. It really was, to kind of take a break and get away from it. And it takes a lot to put this show on. I mean, I know 805, he puts hours into one show, with this film cut-ups and stuff. And then, like, with me and Jeff, yesterday's show, if you add up the hours, me and him, what we put into just last night's show is probably close to 6-8 hours worth of work just to put that together. And then, but it's fun. It's kind of our release, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then we get to meet cool dudes like your dad, DT Raiders 64. How many yards a game does Genty need to average to win fans over? Really, in all honesty, I'm gonna be point blank with you. I don't look at it at the yards. It's when the yards happen and how effective they are. Because there have been some guys that rush for 60, 80 yards in a game and are more effective than the guy on the other side of the field that had 110, 120. So the total yardage, I kind of have an idea, a number. I would love to see him being at 1,200 yards rushing. I know some people say, oh, no, he needs to rush for 1,500 yards. Take your time. This is year 2.
The number I had in my head, I was actually thinking about this today, is like, I was starting to think on, like, what number does Genty need to get to for people to feel confident in him? And then, like, what number would he have to be under for people to start declaring him a bust? And the number I came up for, like, the confidence is 1,600 scrimmage yards. So that's both receiving and running. And then if he sits, like, around that 1,200 scrimmage yards this season, barring an injury, I think people are going to lose a lot of confidence in him, and you might start hearing that bust.
I was just at rush yards, 1,200-yard rush yards. That's
Yeah,
where I was at.
but
Not
I'm
total.
saying scrimmage yards.
Scrimmage yards, yeah. If he's 1,200 scrimmage yards and he's only 800 yards rushing, and knowing what we know, that offensive line has to either get really worse than which I don't think you could get any worse than what you were last year. But if they should be able to get him 1,000 yards in their sleep.
Yeah.
Because they play 17 games. That's what, 71 yards a game, if that, 68 yards a game.
Well, I think the standard for like what's considered a very good to great running back in the league is like about 85 to 90 rushing yards a game. And then I think it's like ends up being like 120 to 130 scrimmage yards a game.
Yep.
Is like that top tier caliber running back where they're consistently doing that. Because that's going to get you all the milestones you need as a running back, is getting those. I mean, obviously touchdowns are way better, but you got to be able to run the ball to control the game, and that's where yards matter, because that actually correlates with time of possession.
Yeah. So and that helps all the other different levels of the offense. But to answer DT Raider 64's overall question, to be quite honest with you, with Genty, I don't think there is a number that's going to make anybody happy. I think there are some people in this world that if he rushed for 2,100 yards this year, would still probably say he's a bust. They didn't want to draft him at number 6. And make no qualms about it, I was not big on it because I was kind of in that same world. It's like, well, we need to get our offensive line needs some help, big time. And if we're in a position to get a really good offensive alignment, we need to do it instead of trying to get that. But we didn't have any running backs either. So it's like it's 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. It's like, oh, well, we get the offensive line, but if we get a really good running back, then we can start to build the offensive line that'll make that running back even better.
Right? I mean, there's always going to be a back and forth conversation on it or argument, because it's like, okay, you go and invest the offensive line, right? And then you get to that point where you're consistently winning, and now that top tier caliber player in the position isn't available for you. Like, who's to say we go and drafted that tackle that the Jets got last year, and then now this year we're picking between Mendoza, or maybe us getting that tackle last year helps us get one more win. We lose out on Mendoza, and then we're maybe drafting Love, or maybe he's taken before us, and then we're without a top tier running back. I don't know. It's
so good. I'm gonna ask my chat real quick. Dixon Sider, can you just take a step back for just a second? I need to talk to Roshat. Roshat, here's the deal. Some dude just popped in that's pretty fire. Been fire for a couple of days. It's Arnie Garza. Yeah, Arnie Garza.
Well, I didn't know you wanted to get involved with the discussion, Mr. Helper.
Arnie Garza's coming in hot with the takes already. Just he barely even opened us up. But question: which player has the best to lose their starting job when pads come on?
Lose
JPJ.
the starting job. I think JPJ takes a step forward with pads that come on, because he's more of a physical player. I'm thinking maybe Porter, because the DB competition's really hot right now.
Yep.
And I don't know, maybe Cian Sloan looks even better with pads on, and then he supplants whoever has that position at nose tackle right now.
Yeah. That's a good question, Arnie. You got me. And the reason why I say JPJ is because when the pads come on is when bad things happen. And I'm not predicting it. I'm not wishing it. But it just seems like when the pads come on, guys like JPJ that are trying to push a little bit harder get hurt. So, who's our X factor on the offensive line? Who fits the scheme? Who does? Go, Duncan.
For the X factor on the offensive line, I see like two different directions you can take this. You could easily say Linderbaum because he's the leader of that offensive line. He's the one making the pre-snap calls and all that, and he should be our best offensive lineman. The other direction I could say is DJ Glaze, is because he can make or break this offensive line on that right-hand side, whether he's able to take a couple steps forward or he stays the same or gets worse. Like he could be that X factor because how he plays can really determine how well we run that ball on the right side.
Yep.
All right, chat. You heard it. That's the kind of take that actually moves the conversation forward.
And that you don't get the message from that. Then you know what we're talking about. Artie's coming in with the heat, guys. Catch up. Dixon Cider. It's not Christmas yet, Rorschach. Just so you know. And Die Hard is a Christmas movie, allegedly.
It's the best one.
Let's see. Business coming in. Could you see Glaze losing his job? Oh, somebody's gaining ground in the chat. BDQ's coming in pretty hot right here.
I could see Glaze losing his spot, but it just every time the opportunity arises, Kubiak, Spy, like it seems like everybody always brings up Glaze's name when he's not mentioned and backs him. So I don't see it happening. I think he's pretty set at that right tackle position, and I think they only tried him out at left guard just to see how he does there, but also to see how Grant and anybody else does at the right tackle spot. I think they figured out what they wanted to. I think Glaze is set.
Yeah.
So I think it's very unlikely he does.
Yeah. He does seem to be one of those guys that's capable of when the pressure's on and he feels a little heat like he's going to lose his job, that he rebounds real well and keeps his job.
Yeah.
You know, I could really, really see that. Good take there, BDQ. Good take, brother. Thank you. I want to see Caleb Rogers, Dixon Cider says. I want to see Caleb Rogers. Yes, I do. Second year, we saw some of them last year, right? And we saw some really good things out of them. So if we can only add to that, it just makes us that much better, correct?
Yeah, and it seems like he is getting more and more time with the ones at the left guard position. So that's promising. We'll just need to see if he can take another step towards that starting spot when the pads come on. And hopefully he can do that.
No. Rorschach, I think it's JPJ that everything to lose because since he has been drafted, the new coaching staffs are not on the same page with the play. I'm going to try and decipher this real quick because I'm sure he's on his phone doing these and it's not easy to put an accurate text. But you're the grammar police. Why don't you figure this one out for me? What are you trying to say?
I'm thinking Rochash is saying JPJ is the X factor because he's got the most to lose or gain with the ever constantly changing coaching staffs, where he seems to be the one that gets kind of lost in the mix. So he gets drafted as a center. They put him at left guard as soon as he's able to start practicing because he was hurt his first preseason. And then as the season goes on, our center gets hurt. And JPJ forces himself to be the center, plays really well. Then he thinks he became the leader of the offensive line and solidifying himself as that center spot and is hyping himself up to Genty and everybody else as he's the center. Everybody seen that introduction video between JPJ and Genty. And then next thing you know, all of a sudden it's, we're going to try Meredith out at center. And then they let JPJ compete for it, which I think ended up hurting him. Instead of just saying, like, look, we think you're best at right guard. You need to practice there. That's where you're going to play, period. So he kind of lost some reps there. And now with this third coaching staff, they did it the right way this time. Like, look, you're our right guard. You're going to practice there. We brought in Linderbaum. There's no ifs, ands, or questions about it. This is your position. Own it. Get better at it. If you don't, you're losing your spot, and you may not have a spot on this team. So he kind of has the most to prove, and it also seems like every single year his attitude comes to question. whether that's reporters being soft or actual legitimate concerns in the front office or in the locker room, like that's a totally different thing. But all that being said, I will say that JPJ is not the only one that's gone through all these coaching staffs. Like Glaze took a huge hit last year too. Like the whole offensive line took a huge hit last year with that lack of coaching. Like there was no coaching for that offensive line last year. I mean, we've all heard the rumors where Spytech started holding meetings with these guys to have film review with them to try to help them get some sort of semblance of a game plan. So it seems like JPJ's the
Scapegoat?
kind of, no, not scapegoat. I would say like the face of the issues of the offensive line, just because of all the bouncing around. Because like he's the one that's actually moving positions. But Glaze got drafted in the same year as JPJ and has had to go through all this stuff too. And constantly probably hearing fans too over social media saying that he needs to move to guard or he's worthless or whatever. Like, so I can see what Rorschach is saying with JPJ, but Glaze seems to be the one that's like solidified at that right tackle position, even with all the issues he's had. And so I kind of think he's the make or break because like they're dead set on making him that guy there. And they brought in a bunch of bodies to compete for those guard positions. So I don't think JPJ is as much of an X factor.
Yeah. We got Arnie Garza coming in again. Oh my God. Who will challenge DJ the Mule Glaze for right tackle?
From what it's looking like in the practices, it's Grant. But it also seems like they want Grant to focus more on that left tackle position to back up Miller. So it's kind of a toss-up between Grant and Zune, the rookie we drafted in the third round. But I think Glaze has pretty much got it.
Yeah. Zune gives us a little bit of versatility, interior and left tackle. I myself don't see the problem in putting Grant in at right tackle. If he earns the right tackle spot because he's better than Glaze, but he's not quite better than Miller, then I would put him in at right tackle.
Yeah,
you know
want
what I mean?
Best players playing.
You want the best players playing. Now I can see them having him focus on left tackle, but in Detroit this year they're moving Penei Sewell from right to left. Which right now I'm going to tell you that is you have a 2-time All-Pro, multi-Pro Bowl, probably the best offensive lineman hands down of anybody in the NFL at right tackle. Why are you trying to reinvent the wheel with him? He might do here's where I see it. He might be the Pro Bowl guy that you can run Gibbs behind all the time on the right side of that offensive line. Now you move him over to the left side because you think you're going to put your best player at the left tackle because that your left tackle retired or you don't have that left tackle from last year, and now all of a sudden you're going to do it because he's your best offensive lineman. Now he's not performing as well as he did on the right side.
Yeah,
you know, he's still Penei Sewell is still going to be. He's still going to be hands down the best offensive lineman on that team.
If you're the face of greatness at a position, you don't move that player from that position.
Right.
You figure out how to make that position of need work. And you got to go draft somebody or bring somebody in. You go do that. But you don't mess with greatness. Arnie had another question. What is best case scenario for AOC? I'm kind of having a little bit of trouble with this question because what's the best case scenario for the Raiders as far as AOC goes, or was the best case scenario for AOC as far as like his career goes for him? So like for me, best case scenario for AOC is he is the backup and Kirk Cousins ends up getting hurt and they decide they want AOC to start the rest of the games the rest of the year and keep Mendoza backing him up and learning. The way I see it, I think the way it would play out is Kirk's the starter. if he happens to get hurt, Aiden will come in and be the backup role and take over that game. But then the next game, Mendoza's the starter. And then Mendoza starts the rest of the season as long as he plays well enough and Kirk doesn't come back. If Mendoza's having issues and Kirk comes back, then Kirk may end up starting games again. But as far as it goes, I think AOC just backs up the game that Kirk gets hurt, and then that's all she wrote for him.
Yeah. So my outlook for AOC is he establishes himself with this coaching staff as a true, dependable backup.
Yeah.
And we don't let him out the building. That's my outlook on it. That's my, because Kirk Cousins is not going to be here long term. He isn't. In fact, the way his contract is structured, unless he does something miraculous with this team, and takes us to the playoffs, then he's probably not going to be with us next year. And I don't see anybody else signing him for what the type of money that he garners on a regular basis. Shout out to his agent. But in retrospect, getting back to the AOC conversation, is I truly think he's going to establish himself with the. I think he's going to do really well under Clint Kubiak. I honestly do. I think AOC is going to thrive under Clint Kubiak, and who knows? Maybe to the point where like, didn't see that coming, right? Because this is his fourth year. And we're gonna chalk up the last 2 years as just he didn't get any development the last 2 years, no help whatsoever in his development. So really, in all honesty, this is his first real year of uptick development with a good coaching staff and probably somebody he can buy into as well. So,
well, as far as AOC goes, is I think he's a good backup. And that's it. If you want to get into the nitty gritty of it, like the thing that I think it was Rorschach brought up with JPJ, AOC, since he's been in the league, has had 6 play callers in 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Like, how are you supposed to have any success as a quarterback like that?
Look who showed up.
Well, I didn't know you wanted to get involved with the discussion, Mr. Helper.
What up, Half Black Zach? One of our guys from our Discord channel. He's popping in here. Salute to you, brother. Thanks for coming in, even if it's for a couple minutes. But if you just popped in, keep your eyes open because there's 2 guys right now that are hitting the punching bag really good today. Rorschach Raider 24 and Arnie Garza 5596. Keep an eye out for them in the chat. They're cooking right now. Alex, got some work to do, my brother. I know you could do it. Arnie, question. Who was the worst draft pick from last year, 2025 draft? Miller, Malott, or someone else? What is the grade on whole draft class A? Well, we'll say A, B, C, D, or F after first year. I'm going to roll with this one first. I think the Miller, we can't really blame the Miller part of it because it's not unheard of for a third quarterback to go on the practice squad or get cut and brought back on the practice squad.
He's still with the Dolphins.
Somebody else might have saw something in him because they picked him up off our practice squad. So I wouldn't get too hurt about that. He was a 5th round pick, correct? So
and then Tony Malott were both 5th rounders.
I think where this year you're going to see the grades fall from last year's draft. First and foremost, we drafted Genty with the number 6 pick. And I don't think anybody can argue that taking that running back, him, at number 6 was probably not the wisest thing to do for that year. But it's also something that's like, okay, well, we didn't draft him for 2025. We drafted him for 2026 and 2027. Kind of like what we did with Mendoza. We didn't draft him for 2026. We drafted him for next year. So everything is put into perspective of we're looking to the future with these draft picks. No, we're not trying to satisfy a need right now. It's just a matter of building. So if that is the way they went about drafting Genty because of that, I'm good with it. Just leave it. We'll let the chips fall where they may after that, 2, 3, 4 years down the road. And then we'll critique. I'll critique it more then. But last year's draft, there's probably one of our fourth rounders that is not going to make this coaching staff happy. And don't be surprised if he's on the chopping block.
Thornton.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's working hard. Don't get me wrong. He's working. He's putting the work in, but it's just not showing up.
Well, I think other than that, I think the glaring detail is going back to Kubiak's press conferences. When he was asked about the receiving room, he said, all of our guys know that they need to contribute on special teams. And Thornton doesn't do that. So he's already on the outside looking in just with that comment.
Yeah, where Benson is, Malik Benson will contribute on special teams. It'll probably be one of our best special teamers. And same with Betch. Even though Betch is our second-round pick, again, we can argue the value of that pick, but at this point, it doesn't matter. We drafted him, and is he going to ever live up to that second-round pick? Time will only tell. Now, from what I'm hearing from training camp, is he looks a lot better than he did last year.
Yeah.
So that's a plus. Just how much better, we'll see when the pads come on and the bullets become live. There were times last year, there was one game, he had 60 yards receiving in one game. Even though he only had like 225 for the whole year. But he did have a 60-yard game, and it was pretty productive. I was kind of impressed. And his first 4 or 5 games, he only caught 5 passes, but all 5 of them were for first downs. So was it more him, or was it more us couldn't get him the ball, or a combination of both? What do you say? Go.
As far as Besh goes, he didn't see the field very much. And it was to the point where defenses were keying on the plays when Besh was seeing the field because he was used as a blocker. They knew we weren't throwing the ball when he was on the field. So it was just poor utilization and coaching.
Yeah.
Here's Good night, Roshash.
Joey Best Frith. I hate the Raiders. I'm a Packers fan. Okay, thanks for coming in.
Well,
you're more than welcome to come into the Raider Nation here and be on our chat. Just be respectful. We'll be respectful to you until you prove otherwise.
Yeah. Thanks for coming in and leaving a comment. We appreciate you stopping by nonetheless.
Yep. Yeah, all is welcome. All is welcome. Roshak, I think he's going over to Bueno's house to have some dinner. Probably some leftovers in the refrigerator. Queric, hey, welcome. Look.
Well, I didn't know you wanted to get involved with the discussion, Mr. Helper.
Thank you for coming in, brother. Thanks for being that helper. What's up, fellas? How do you feel about 4 different teams on our schedule losing a player long term? Does this factor into a new win-loss projection? If we beat those 4 teams, we're looking at maybe 10 wins. I am going to, because naturally coming from where we come from in the Central Valley here, Central Valley of California, Modesto area, and the Bay Area, that we had to put up with that other team that they're supposed to be San Francisco, but they don't quite play in San Francisco. I know a lot of their fans are, we call them fair weather fans. They only come out when it's sunny out. But I said this way back when, and you could probably, I just picture San Francisco imploding this year. And the writing is on the wall, and it seems like every day something new is popping up that you just go, yep. I can truly, believe it or not, I think Mike Shanahan might get fired before we play him. probably the week before. Our luck is he gets fired the week before we play the 49ers. They bring in some guy that was coaching Pop Warner football in Fremont somewhere, and
then
he
we'll
takes
lose.
over, and then we lose.
That
You know what I mean?
later way.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be our luck. We were like, hey, Shanahan got fired, and it's like, because there was the dissension between him and Lynch started last year, and I don't think it's gotten. If anything, it's gotten worse. And this Brandon Ayuk situation has even doubled and tripled that.
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling one of the two don't want him, and the other one wants him really bad, and it's kind of a fight over it.
Well, speaking of Shanahan, I was actually thinking he may end up losing or parting ways with the 49ers here pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
And I started thinking, I'm like, he might end up becoming the Chargers' next head coach.
I was saying Chiefs.
Could be the Chiefs, but I think the
I
Chiefs are
guarantee he's going to go. He's going to go where they already have an established quarterback.
Yeah, but I mean, Herbert's considered a great quarterback to some.
No.
Whether that's Shanahan or not is up
No.
to him. But I think the Chiefs are fully letting Andy Reid decide when he's done, and they're going to ride it out with him. And
I think Andy Reid's going to pick his successor too.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
But,
I think he's earned that right in that franchise. He's earned that right. So I have a funny feeling, and that's why Bieniemy coming back. Just kind of keep your eyes on that a little bit. I don't think Eric Bieniemy's cut out to be a head coach. He's a good offensive coordinator with a lot of resources. Having Andy Reid as your head coach and being an offensive, I think I could be the offensive coordinator with Andy Reid as a head coach. So,
well, my whole thing with the Chiefs, like my prediction with them on their next head coach, is I really think they're going to promote their defensive coordinator, Spags, and then they're going to turn to shit. And then they're going to end up firing them and starting over again.
Yeah.
All while they still have Mahomes locked up because they gave him that 10-year deal.
Yeah. $500 million.
Yeah. Arnie Garza, question: how do you grade SpyTech free agent signings last year? I mean,
Last year, I'd say C.
I think I'm going more D or F because what free agents are still on the team besides Chen and Stokes?
You're right. All right.
Chen and Stokes. So Chen, great free agent signing. I love that signing. I think he's easily our best DB right now. Stokes, he proved his worth. I kind of on the fence with him because I think he's a true cover 3 corner, and I think he may end up struggling this year because we're not going to be playing cover 3. But as far as how he's played so far with us, he's played well. So like those two, like they separated themselves from the rest of that free agent class. Everyone else we've gotten rid of, and they were all older, and they're all trying to basically see if they could rekindle that flame and somehow find some more greatness with us, and it didn't happen. So I'm leaning towards D, and the only saving graces are Chen and Stokes.
Yeah, you convinced me on that one. The C, the reason why I give this C is because the attempt that he made in such a short amount of time to try and provide a roster that was capable of competing.
And the lack of money that he put to it also.
Right. Which at this, and I said this back then, and I'll say it again, I don't really blame him for doing that. Because you walk in the building, you're there for 2 or 3 weeks, and then free agency hits, and you just start throwing a bunch of cash around trying to grab people and sign people. And it's like, you might want to hold off a little bit because there's a bigger picture here. And I saw this after the McDaniels firing. We were in rebuild mode then. I don't know why everybody's saying that this year's a rebuild year. To be quite honest with you, we've been rebuilding. We just ain't done it right. Ain't done it right. And now it feels like you can see the vision of where they want to go. And I'm not going to lie, and you guys can check me if you want, but this year's free agent signings, 3 of them specifically, are probably will go down as our best 3 free agent signings we've ever had.
That's really high praise considering the sheer amount of great free agent signings we've had.
But you're thinking, here's the deal. You're thinking of when we sign the legends to come in and play for 1 or 2 years, right? So what you're thinking of, the Rod Woodsons, the Jerry Rices,
Gannon,
those kind of players.
Well, so Gannon is
Let me tell you why I say this.
And then he became great with the Raiders. So that is like a great free agent signing because we together, greatness was created there.
Yeah. And that team was already being built before we signed Gannon too. So Gruden was already starting to cook, and he already had Tim Brown. But I'm going to go back to why I'm saying this is because you look at the age of the free agent signings that he got at the time of their career, at the situation we're in as a franchise, as a whole. Those 3 are going to make probably one of the biggest differences in our franchise. They're going to, if anything, Linderbaum and Dean and Walker are going to pull us up, start to pull us up to where now we can get some momentum and just keep getting better and better and better. And it allows us to draft better to where we don't have to go out and throw high dollar because we already did it with Linderbaum, right?
Yeah.
But today Linderbaum
proved with us already signing Rodney Hudson in the past. Hudson was great for us. And it's kind of similar situation where Hudson still had some years left to play, and he ended up playing, was it 4 or 5 years with us?
Yeah.
So, there's some competition there for greatness, at least at the center position as a free agent signing.
Yep. But from an individual standpoint, I'm talking as a group.
Yeah.
Where they're going to bring us.
This class definitely has that possibility to greatly impact this franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And
they're young. They're young.
Yeah.
They're young and already proven in the NFL. So it's just a matter of we got to take advantage of it is what we need to do as a franchise. Start hitting in the draft, and then maybe get a couple more free agents, cheap, get some of those discount coupon free agents to come in here and ball out on a cheap contract.
Yeah.
So
real quick, Arnie says, does Pearsall have the worst luck ever? And
absolutely.
Possible. He's had it really rough. Definitely feel sorry for the dude. It just seems like he needs to make sure the football season never ends. Because in the off season, he just has terrible luck. Does signing Debo hurt Mike Evans and Kittle fantasy football value to draft? I think
Kittle's injury is going to hurt his fantasies, dog.
Well, Kittle's whole thing too is he's too valuable in blocking. So there's games where he completely disappears as far as fantasy value goes. Mm-hmm. And that's all dictated by their game plan. Unfortunately for Kittle, he is both great at blocking and receiving, and 9 times out of 10 in real football, the blocking's more valued than the receiving end.
Yep.
As far as Mike Evans goes, Debo signing, that may hurt a little bit, but they're both older vets. I wouldn't really expect too much out of them in fantasy football. Back to real football. Who has more receiving yards this year, Naylor or Tucker? I think Tucker. Just because it seems like Kubiak kind of goes out of his way to talk up Tucker, and it seems like Naylor has to be asked about, or like Kubiak will be talking, and then he'll turn it from talking about Tucker to turning it to talking about the receiver room. So it seems like Tucker's kind of that front runner on like the system's gonna like. So that's where my vote
I can
goes.
tell you this: Tucker's going to have more yards per catch because Tucker's one of those guys that could get more yardage off of 3 catches, where Naylor's going to have to get more catches to get the same amount of yards.
Naylor's pretty damn fast too.
He is. He is. But Tucker just has that. I don't know. He's got that. He has a gear that. Like his rookie,
open.
it was funny. His rookie year, he was outrunning the boundaries. You always saw he was running so fast. Like his crossing routes were so fast that he was moving so fast. He is like every play he caught the ball was an instant replay to see if he got his feet in.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable how he probably led the league in instant replays that year. But. You know what? I'm going to go. I think Tucker, he's just more explosive than Naylor.
But he just has a knack of getting open, and unfortunately, we haven't been able to utilize it.
Yeah.
Whether it's offensive line or quarterback play, I mean, it's definitely the combination of the both. But
here's one for you: Will Cousins throw for at least 3,500 yards?
no, because I'm not projecting him to start the whole season.
Yeah. If he throws for more than 3,500 yards, we're going to have 7-8 wins.
Yeah.
So
I disagree with this statement or question. We've heard a lot about Stukes. I mean, it seems like we pretty much got one of those safety positions locked down. They're kind of going more of a 3-safety defense, and it seems like Stukes and Chen are the guys. And then the third one rotating seems to be like the, what's his name? Tyron Johnson?
Terrion Johnson, boy got from Buffalo.
Yeah. It seems like he's the third one. So they're going to be rotating these guys around a lot. But it seems like Chen and Stukes are going to be on the field the whole time.
Yep.
And I think the lack of hearing anything is because it's nothing new. It seems like once he got that spot, like he's been there the whole time. So there's nothing new to talk about. And sometimes not hearing anything is a lot better than hearing something, because that something could be really bad.
All right. Meal ticket 707.
You've got to be kidding me. Could someone please explain this stupidity?
Any explanation, meal ticket?
I mean, obviously he's a Niner fan.
Yeah. Yeah. And go love on your proc birdie. For all I care. Arnie Garza come back in with another one. Naylor for sure, but much because Genty, Bowers, and offense and everyone else blocks and runs good routes. The combination of everybody is executing their assignments and playing at the level that we drafted it and or sign them as free agents. That's the key. If they could just do that and perform at the level that we think they can, it's going to be that much better. There's talent there. We have everybody in the NFL has talent. There's nobody in the NFL that doesn't have talent. It's just a matter of putting it all together, coaching it up right, putting players in the right position, and where they succeed. And you're doing it day in, day out, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. That it becomes that. And I think, say it again, I don't think that was the case last year.
Yeah.
I don't think last year they took it serious enough.
The coaches couldn't coach themselves out of a wet paper bag last year. It was atrocious.
No. And then we'll get some good shot to business decisions right there. So it sucks that your team's show isn't as good as this one. Well, yeah. Mill tickets. Hey, we appreciate fans of other teams coming on the show. And we will keep it as respectful as possible if you do the same. But once it gets disrespectful, then I have to unleash the dogs on you. And Business Decision Sports is one of them. I will sick them on you like in a heartbeat, man.
Well,
You will wish you never celebrated a birthday.
regardless, we appreciate you stopping by and
Yeah,
commenting.
but we appreciate you stopping by. Hey, hit the like button. Hey,
It,
wouldn't hurt.
it helps us out just by commenting,
Yeah,
so thank you.
Yeah.
Glad you're supporting the Raiders in some way, somehow.
Yep. So we got Arnie in business coming in here. They're a little bit on the same side. Oh, once again, Arnie. Genty will be team lead in targets and rush yards, but Washington will lead in rushing touchdowns, short yardage specials. Actually,
I disagree with that.
I think Washington's going to have longer runs than Genty. He has that.
The Thunder.
He has that knack in an
Washington's
open
light.
field. If you can get Washington to the second level, it is dangerous. It's one of those that you are standing up, getting out of your chair, because at any moment it's going to be a over the fence home run. He's that fast. Mill Ticket says, "I love the Raiders." All right, we'll test you on that one. But I like the picture though, the Brock Purdy picture. I haven't heard any of his play. I guess I better pay attention. Who are we talking about on that one?
You see this one? I think it's kind of a joke just because the Deshaun Kaiser part.
Yeah.
So, and also our Discord would be blowing up if something did happen because they're on top of it.
Well, also, too, I was watching an NFL Network who was on scene at the Raiders camp and reporting from Raiders camp, and they were reporting post-Raiders camp. And yeah, I think they would have said, oh, something happened to Fernando. We don't quite know. He went down. He was carted off the field. We'll report back to at least have that. No, there was none of that. So I don't know where you're getting your information, but you might want to check. I mean, or I highly suggest watching The View Monday through Friday on ABC if you're like watching stuff like that. Really?
Yeah.
It seriously got canceled.
Yeah, it got canceled.
Really?
Yeah, so now they're making AI videos of it, of random guests going on and trashing the hosts.
Oh.
It's funny.
I've seen some of those where it's just like cricket.
Yeah. Back to football, though. Arnie coming in again. Predicting a record is like throwing darts on a board blindfolded due to injuries and luck on the daily NFL stands, not for long. No, I absolutely agree, Arnie. Predictions, it's kind of based off of like how well the teams did the previous year. And the next season's always a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Mill Ticket saying I come in peace. But DT Raiders, how many yards a game and touchdowns will we feel the offense is heading in the right direction? I think kind of a easy way to judge it is the points per game. Mm-hmm. But we got to get back over 21 for it to be seen as progress.
Yeah. And you know what? The skipper is tired of making his weekly predictions and not hitting it. We need a 31-17 victory. Dang it. I'm tired of it. That man has put a lot of work into rooting for this team. He's invested a lot of money and time. It's about damn time that this team gives him a 31-17 victory. What do you say, people? Are you with me on that one? Are you with me? Ladies and gentlemen, are you with me? Thank you. A 31-17 victory, preferably over one of our rivals.
Yeah. And then Quirk saying, Q Myers was saying, in a short defense today won the day, so that may line up with the Stooks rebuttal. I mean, if Stooks is playing out there on the field as the starter and you're not hearing anything, generally that's a good thing because that means he's not even being tested.
Yep.
I mean, that's like Namdi all those years with us is like you never heard of the guy because nobody threw to his side of the field for what 2 or 3 years. Just so, yeah. As far as Stukes go, I think it's a good thing we're not hearing anything because he is the starter. He is a starting safety, so it's just silent assassin.
Yeah. But to get back to Artie's point, and Arnie coming in here, Alex, 31-17, a must for JD. Yes, it would help me with my partner on Saturday night, so I don't have to, it's those therapy sessions are difficult when he doesn't get it right. We need to get him right. Let's do it for 401 Raider Jeff. What do you say? And then we can stand there and say,
flawless victory.
thank you.
How funny would it be if the first 31-17 win we get is with Mendoza starting?
I think I'd buy him a 15 jersey.
I think Jeff would have a mini panic attack.
He would
wouldn't know how to
at
feel.
least one side of his body would be sweating.
Yeah.
he'll be sweating on one side of his body if that happened. But no, Arnie Garza, 21 points average on offense, hold them under 20 points on defense. That's a recipe for success right there on the average. If we break down our averages and do it that way. But DT Raider 64, thank you so much. Yes, we definitely know. And I'm going to get back to his question real quick. How many yards a game and touchdowns will we feel the offense is heading in the right direction? And I think we're kind of getting there, right? At time of possession. Get that time of possession up, right?
Yeah.
So break down last year. Let's use last year as a litmus test with that. Break that down for me.
Couldn't run the ball because our offensive line was a sieve. Couldn't pass worth a shit because we couldn't run the ball. The offensive line was inconsistent in the pass blocking game. Quarterback stared down receivers a lot. When the offensive line did block, it seemed like the quarterback held on to the ball forever. And then obviously when they didn't block, he got sacked. Seemed like there's quite a few plays where sometimes the receivers were left out there open, and just because we didn't have time in the backfield. Offensive coaching was terrible. We had no offensive line coaching at all. It seemed like Pete Carroll was trying to stick his nose into the offensive play calling also because we were not running a Chip Kelly offense. Not saying that we would have done any better with a Chip Kelly offense because I don't think it's that great because after he lost Shady McCoy, his offenses have never been the same. So just recipe for disaster last year.
Yep. So basically, in a nutshell, what Duncan's trying to say is if we do everything opposite of what we did last year, this year should be a lot of fun. To plug a win-loss ratio to what we're talking about, I'm not going to do that because I'm tired of doing that and just ended up, and we all look like fools when we do it because nobody in here has been right. So stop it right now. Nobody has. Even if you accidentally picked 3-14 last year, was an accident. It wasn't on purpose. Okay. So now, having said that, I do say 6 wins at minimum we can hang our hat on and say this year was a success. As a litmus test, as a number, if you want to put a numerical value on it, 6 wins will put us in that category of we're trending upward as a franchise, as an organization. But of those 6 wins comes 11 losses. In those 11 losses, are we looking at crushing defeats? Or are we looking at total BTA type? We just got stomped 31-0 and those type of games. So if they're heartbreaking games, if we're in a lot of heartbreaking games, that's just part of the NFL. If you're at that point, it's just a piece here, a piece there that fixes that, right? So if we can get to that point, then it's just a piece here, a piece there that we could plug in next year that flips that number to where now instead of 6-11, it becomes 11-6, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking for. What we had last year, and I'm going to say it again. I hate using last year, talking about last year, but we have to
bringing it up.
Yeah, well, I know. I keep bringing it up, but you know what? If you don't understand your history, you're bound to repeat it. So let's understand what the history was, and let's not repeat it. Correct? So if we talk about it, then we can probably digest as fans. Is we don't want to repeat that again, because when that happened, what happened last year was hard on us. Okay, it was harder. It was harder on us than it was the players that were playing on the field. I guarantee you.
Well, we didn't have millions of dollars to wipe our tears after games.
Well, that's just it. And I always say this, too, as a Raider fan. We're more invested in the team than some of the players are anyways, even though they're making millions
but they're
of dollars.
invested in their career. So,
but in 15 years, are you going to be a Raider fan? And they're not. They're going to be they're going to play for 5 different teams, and it's whichever one they decide to root for the most. I mean,
that's not all of them. And
no,
to be fair, a
you're
lot
right.
of the players that end up leaving after they're rookies with us, like they end up being players that barely make rosters.
Yeah.
Or they may end up being like a decent like number 2 guy someplace else. Like it's just a non like argument. Like I don't know. I just don't find interest in that discussion. The players are going to try their hardest and they're going to give it their all. They're spending all this time training before the season even begins. They're putting all this time in. Like they got to go out and make sure at bare minimum they're trying to earn their money for their families or for themselves or whatever. So like they have a lot to lose in this. So like no player wants to be on a losing team, but even if they are, they're all going to go out there and try their damnedest because they're trying to make the most out of their career because it's a short career.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a player that was more in it for the money than actually being great at the game itself?
I mean, I'm sure there's plenty, but at a point, you got to be able to be great to get great money.
Yeah. Yeah. But my thing is we're always going to love this team, and the guys that a lot of the guys that wear the uniform aren't. They're going to move on. They're not going to have the passion that we're going to have. There are some, that are on this team right now that probably are just as passionate at being a Raider and carrying on that tradition as what we expect. But there are some that they're going to move on, and those are the ones that we don't want. We want everybody on that team to love them, love those colors, and love that uniform just as much as we do. Well, and that's what we're looking for. And we're getting there. I think we're getting there with these guys. I truly do. I think some of these guys are really buying into the fact that this is a team that wants to win. We want to win. The fans want to win. And players say it all the time. The Raiders have some of the greatest fans in all of sports. But it seems like time and time again we get let down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
well, also we're fans of the franchise. Like, yeah, we love rooting for the players and the teams, but year in and year out, that's constantly changing. But we're rooting for the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Like those players, you can argue that they're bigger fans of the team itself because they know each of those guys on the team. Like they're friends with a lot of them and all that. So it's different perspectives from each team. So that's why I don't like it as an argument, because it's like we're always going to be Raider fans. And there's going to be a bunch of teams in the past that we couldn't even name 5 players off of. Like, but we're Raider fans.
Yeah. But you missed that part of it in your lifetime as to what it was like. Because, like, guys, our generation is when we became Raider fans, all those players were just Raiders. They were our idols, our legends. And now people come and go so fast. You mean like
Charles Woodson? Like, I grew up with Charles Woodson, Tim Brown. Like, there's plenty of players from that Super Bowl team that are still around the organization. Like, those are the guys that I grew up looking at, watching. And then there's plenty of players that have been with the Raiders team with all these shitty teams that are great Raiders.
But you don't see it as much today as you did back then.
yesterday you were talking about like the old school fullback, like the Raiders are getting back to the fullback. Or it might have been Friday's show, but and I was kind of, now that I'm talking about it, I forget the guy's name because I'm too amped up on it now. But we had a longtime fullback with the Raiders where he ended up being a captain for us for, I think it was like 3 seasons, and he is the most Raider of Raiders that like I've ever seen, even with those Super Bowl teams. Like I'd put him above Charles Woodson. Why can I not remember his name? He was a fullback for us. He was a receiver out of college. He's faster than shit. He was 6 foot tall, and the guy was
Reese.
Great. Yes, Marcel Reese. Thank you. Like that is a Raider. Like you can put him up with the greats. Like he was a great Raider. And he's still around the Raiders organization. He does all these little events and everything. Like, so you can't tell me that I haven't grown up with great Raiders. Like this guy is up there with the greats.
Did I say you didn't grow up? You didn't see it.
Yes, you did. My generation.
Hold on,
we
stop.
Didn't see it.
You didn't see it the way we saw it in the 70s and 80s because we didn't have free agency back then. When they were on our team, they were on our team forever. There was no chance of them leaving.
There's the argument that it's even more special for us now when we do have actual Raiders.
But today, in the last... Okay, so you named Charles Woodson, right? Okay. Since Charles Woodson, who else? Max?
Nnamdi Asomugha.
Okay.
Marcel Reese.
Okay.
Rodney Hudson.
Okay.
Kalichi Assembly completely bought in for the 3 years he was with us.
Okay.
Derek Carr is a Raider through and through.
And he still wants to be a Raider.
We've had total great Raiders.
Right.
The problem is, collectively as a team, we haven't had that greatness, but we've had great Raiders. We've seen some greatness from players. It's just it wasn't put together as a team.
And not for a long period of time. That was what I was trying to get, is not for a long period of time. You see what I'm saying? Some of these guys they move so fast. I mean, how long was Charles Woodson with us his first stint? 5 years?
5 years, and then he came back and played for us, 3 years? 3 seasons?
2 or 3 years?
He had 8 seasons with us.
But he had his greatest years as a pro in Green Bay. You know what I mean? So it's not like... It's different because we've seen it in different aspects, and it really started to change in the early 90s once they went away from Plan B free agency into total unrestricted free agency, and you started to see the movement. And then it was like, and then because we talk about it all the time, why would I go buy a Brock Bowers jersey today when I don't know if he's going to be with us in 2 years? You know
because
what I mean?
you're a fan.
But see, now that's today's fan, right? Would do, us, like, you can ask anybody like that's my age, is like, well, I can't buy a new jersey of a current player because I just don't know if they're going to be with us long enough.
So
You know what I
you're
mean?
getting back to my point, is we're fans of the franchise.
Yes, and I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing that you ain't a fan. You're a fan of the franchise.
We're still on this discussion that I didn't want to have because I just don't like it, because the players are going to have their own special relationships with the actual team year in and year out. Like, so they're at a completely different, like, I don't want to say level because we're seeing it from different viewpoints.
Yeah.
There's great players on shitty teams every single year across the NFL, and they're going to love some of those teams just because of the guys that are around. We're going to love Raiders.
Can I tell you this? In all honesty, I want this franchise to do what it takes so you can experience what we did back in the 70s and 80s. That's what I want, because you have poured your heart into this franchise and not gotten the same. I've seen Super Bowl wins, right? I was a part of the 2000. I had season tickets in 2001, 2002, right? I saw it. I want this for you. That's what I want. And when it comes down to it, is I want players to buy into the organization as a whole. As a whole, not as an individual, as a whole, and start making and create those, when you look 6-7 years down the road, that Stooks and Masses and McCoy are legends. You know what I mean? Together.
Yeah,
That's
that
what
would
I'm trying.
be
That's what I'm
awesome.
trying to.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying. That's my point. Is you deserve that as a fan. So me and business and your dad and 401 Raider Jeff and Sacktown Mike, we've seen it already, right? And things have changed. It's changed a lot. Your dad will tell you this too, that it's changed so much that, like, my point being is it's hard for, probably not for the younger generation, but it's hard for us to buy a jersey of a current player on the team because you just don't know if they're going to stick with it. And they're going to go on to another team and be better, right? Had Charles Woodson not come back to the Raiders, that might change things a little bit, right? But he came back because he was a Raider, right?
Yeah.
And he saw that these guys want me here. I should have probably never left. And that means something. It means something to me, means something to you. But we need more of that. Because those teams of the early years, the 70s, 80s, and early 90s, the whole team was like that. They were all Raiders. They all bought into it. You know what I mean? Whereas now I don't. It just seems like, but this culture right here that we're seeing, that I'm seeing on the Kubiak side of it, I could see a little bit more than just one or two people buying into it. Into the Raider culture. I could see more and more. And it's going to be a little different. Okay? You're not going to see a whole lot of guys smoking cigarettes and drinking beer the night before the game with these guys. It's a little different. Okay? But you're still going to see these guys that want to come in and win and be the best that they can be and work hard. And we just keep going and going and going. And so fans like you could celebrate a championship. That's what I want for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to, like, this isn't a pick a fight or debate. This is just where we're seeing it from our perspective, right?
Well, you know what else?
And if I said you
winning.
haven't seen or you haven't been around Raider led, okay, yeah, you're old enough to remember Tim Brown, right? But I'm old enough to remember when Tim Brown got drafted. Okay, and his early years, right? So because he was with us a long time, he's Mr. Raider for a reason.
Yeah.
Right. Because he's a long tenured Raider. And then you take Charles Woodson. You mentioned Charles Woodson. Loved him. I thought I didn't want to see him go, but I think he was fed up with the way the organization was going, and he needed to go somewhere for the betterment of his career. And he went to Green Bay and did outstanding. And that was the crux of his career, was Green Bay. But he'll always be a Raider. Always. And my take on it, when you hear that once a Raider, always a Raider, some people have their differences of what that means. To me, once a Raider, always a Raider, what it means is you played for us, you contributed for us, but you still believe in us. And you're willing to, if you're the one to go, if you're one of those guys that's going to stand there on a television network and look at the fans and say, I never was a Raider, you're absolutely right. You weren't.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you, Moss.
Yep. So, for all intents and purposes, I wasn't trying to say you don't know, because you do. There's one of the reasons why I hooked with you is because for your age, the knowledge that you have about the history of this team is unfathomable. Unfathomable. There is not too many people in this world in your position at your age that can sit there and say, this is how the Raiders have been. And you could back it up. And I totally get it. Right? But there comes a point in time where these guys today, and it hasn't happened a lot. Okay? Khalil Mack didn't buy into us. He gone.
He bought into the paycheck.
He bought into the paycheck. And it happens. People do that. He's going to be more happy with the money and the accolades than to have team championships. When his career is done and they close that book, that final chapter on his career, he's going to be more proud of all the sacks that he got. He's going to be more proud of all the money that he deposited into his checking accounts than having any rings on his finger. And that's what we don't want.
Yeah.
We want guys that come in. You rather come in and help us win championships than get a gold jacket.
Yeah. Well, I think a better way of putting it is, for us, I don't want to remember individual players as much anymore. I want to remember the teams. I want to be able to list the great teams. Mm-hmm. That's the argument I think you're going for, which I completely understand that and get that. The guys I'm picking apart are one or two players from a team or a set of teams. We haven't had that just greatness within the organization in a long time. We haven't had great coaches in a long time. We tried rekindling some old flames like Pete Carroll and John Gruden. We had Jack Del Rio, who had some sort of a semblance for 1 year, and then I guess you could say greed kind of got the better part of that to break that up. But other than a couple seasons in the past 20 years, we haven't had any great teams. We've had some great Raiders, individual people, but we haven't had any great teams. But getting back to what the show is about fandom and our chat, DT Raider says, what do you think of the linebacking crew? I think we are one injury away from being a disaster. We are very shallow. We got, in my opinion, we got two really good linebackers and then two could be good linebackers, but we haven't seen them enough to know. And then after that, we have nothing. And we're running a 3-4 defense. So we're going to be relying a lot on our edge rushing linebackers to be playing outside linebacker a lot, like Kuntz. So we are one injury away from being very, very iffy.
Yeah. I think if one goes down, it hurts us. If both go down, it's a disaster. One of those two guys can still carry enough muster to hold the fort down in situations. Okay, I'm not saying as a total, but in situations like Quay Walker has the ability to kind of, because he stepped up when Micah Parsons went down last year, and stepped up and played really well. So when you thought Micah Parsons was down, no, Quay Walker did pretty damn good.
Well, here's another level to it too. Is both Dean and Walker are great pass rushers for linebackers.
Oh yeah,
and they're going to be contributing a lot in our pass rush. We're going to be having a bunch of team sacks more than individual effort Crosby sacks. So it's going to hurt us in multiple levels if even one of those two guys goes down. Yeah. So that's why I say one injury could be a disaster for us. We can still get very good linebacker play with one of them. And as far as leadership goes, both of them are green dot guys. But it's drastically going to be reducing our playmaking ability on our defensive side because now they have to fill more roles without one or the other on the field.
Yep.
Arnie Garza coming in again with a great question. What is the ideal start for Cousins' first 4 games? 3-1, 2-2, wins against Miami, Saints, losses versus Chiefs and Chargers.
Oh, let me pump the brakes on that for just a second. I think we beat the Chargers. And I'm not sold on the Miami game. But I think we beat the Chargers.
So I'm thinking 2-2 also. Uh, I think we lose to the Saints. I think the Saints are going to surprise people this year. Um, I do think we beat Miami. Um, and then for me, it's a coin toss between the Chiefs and Chargers early in the season. So I think we do beat one of them. The Chargers, I think, are going to be a lot worse than last year. Like, I think they're going to be lucky to get 8 wins this year.
There's going to be a drop off on their defense.
A huge drop off. Like, their defensive coordinator was basically that team last year. Like, he is an amazing defensive mind. Their offense is going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting. So that's where that Chargers game could be a coin flip, where our defense does and offense do just enough to outscore the Chargers. The Chiefs, I think, are going to be a slugfest, and it all depends on like how well Mahomes is moving and how well the defense is playing without some of the key pieces they lost. So I think 2-2 is probably a realistic start.
Yeah. So the Miami game, and then the reason why I got the Miami game as a toss-up for me right now, whether it's a win or loss, is because it's our first game with the new coaching staff, new players, new offense. And we know Miami's in their rebuild as well. Okay, even though they're saying, "Oh no, we're going to be really good." No, we've done seen what you lost in your roster, fired your coach, and what you got to roll out there with. But you know, and I know that you never judge a book by its cover until we get out there and play the game, right? So there's in the history of us is just because you think it's a win doesn't necessarily it's going to be a win. And with the Chargers game, the reason why I have kind of a high hope mentality with the Chargers game is because it's number one, it's the Chargers. Number two, Kubiak knows what divisional games in the AFC West mean. It's not unlike last year.
Yeah.
He knows those games. It's Charger week. Okay? It's Charger week. So practices are going to be a little bit more intense. Meetings are going to be a little bit more intense. And just like we were talking about with the Chargers defense, losing Jesse Minter was huge. That was people don't realize how. Yeah, but they got McDaniel for their offensive coordinator. Okay, who cares? I don't care. He's going to want to go for on 4th and 17 on the 20-yard line. We know that.
Well,
who cares?
He's not the head coach. That's not his decision anymore.
Yeah, I know, but he's gonna. I know, but he's gonna be one of those. That's gonna be. That's his play calling style, right? Right.
That's kind of Harbaugh's play calling style too. Is Harbaugh's aggressive?
Yeah.
So it kind of fits hand in hand. I think McDaniel's is going to end up being a fall guy, which is unfortunate because I do think McDaniel is a great offensive mind. I truly do.
Yeah.
He could possibly be an Andy Reid-like figure in the future in the NFL. But it seems like he's kind of got to get his own personal stuff together.
I think the point I was trying to get is he could be full of himself as well.
Yeah.
I know a lot of I do think that Harbaugh hiring him it's going to take pressure off him one way or the other, whether it's successful or not. You know what I mean? That, well, it was because of him our offense wasn't doing good. Oh, it's because of me it's doing good, type thing. So, yeah, I kind of see your point there. He could be the fall guy in a roundabout way.
Well, you and I have talked about it. Like, we think Harbaugh's coming up at the end of his tenure with the Chargers. Like, especially if they take a step back on their record this year, especially if they barely miss the playoffs, like they just barely miss a wild card spot, I think Harbaugh's done.
Yeah. Well, the Spanos family already fired a coach that went 14-2 and lost in the first round of the playoffs with LaDainian Tomlinson and Drew Brees as his quarterback.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's
You know what I
been a
mean?
long
So
time
they're not.
since then, but yeah, there is a
I mean,
precedent.
they're not afraid to go. You know what, dude? You can't even. You don't even get in the playoffs this year. You went one and done last year. What'd you do the first year? No, we're moving on.
Yeah.
Especially if there's some hot commodities that hit the market next year. You know, so
Yeah,
who knows?
it's possible. NFL, you think it's going to be a little steady for a couple seasons, and the next thing you know, you have 12 teams looking for a new head coach or new coaches in some sort of way.
No, there's going to be some surprise firings this year, just like this past year. There's going to be a couple this year, this coming up year that you go, I didn't see that coming. Oh well.
How much would you play starters in preseason? So game one, I would say probably a quarter for the first stringers, and then the second stringers get the second and third quarter, and then everybody else gets the fourth. Second game, I would say the starters get a half, and then you split the last two quarters between the second and third. And then the last game, maybe a drive or two for the starters if you really need to see something, or none at all. And then second stringers get at least a half, and then third stringers probably get the second half. But I think that's pretty standard for most teams anyways. I mean, some teams just don't play the starters at all.
So mine, first game, first quarter. Second game, their playing time is going to depend on how well they perform in the pre-scrimmages with Texans. If they perform well in the scrimmage in the controlled scrimmages, then there's no necessity in playing them in the preseason game because you've already gotten those game type reps, right? Fast pace against another team. Yeah, it's stud. I get it. But it's still at a different level because it's against a different team and it's a different pace and a different environment with officials on the field calling fouls like they're supposed to because they ref those up a little bit more, those inner scrimmages. And it just depends on the outcome, how they perform in those scrimmages. If they're dog shit in those scrimmages, then you guys are playing a whole half, the second game. But if you guys play well, then we'll send you out there for a ceremonial first series, and then that's it. Go take your pads off, get you a hot dog and a Gatorade, and sit back and let the rest of these guys fight for a position. Because with only 3 preseason games, these roster bubble guys need all the game time that they can.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to miss out on that guy and end up cutting somebody, and they end up on Buffalo's team in a week, and next thing you know, that guy's in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. Miltic is saying, you think the Chargers take a step back and Jim Harbaugh gets fired? I do. Yeah.
Yep.
I really do. Their defense is going to be drastically worse this year. And their offense, I think, will be better this year, especially if they're healthy. But I don't think it'll be enough to make up for how big of a step back their defense will take. How do you guys feel about the new head coach? I am ecstatic about it. This is the first head coach hiring in a long time where I'm actually excited about. And every time he has a press conference, he just solidifies that feeling. He's down to earth. He talks football. There's no bullshit, and he's just going to tell you how it is. And it's been a breath of fresh air so far. Early in the show, I think is before you may have popped in, Mill Ticket, I was talking about how one of the last press conferences could be at CAD. Max Crosby breaking up the practice from how he practices was brought up, and he basically said that there's great players on every defense, and this is a great way for us to practice how to play against a great player and how we need to scheme against them and change our play calling. So, this is the first coach that hasn't scoffed at, made an excuse, joked about, or cried about Max Crosby being Max Crosby. He's the first coach that's going to take it head on and actually try to scheme for it because it makes him better, it makes the team better, and it gets the guys to realize like how you're supposed to play against great players.
Yep. So, the crowd just dwindling down on our party here, Mr. Duncan. 2 hours and 2 hours and 20 minutes. Had a great show, great time. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
And
really appreciate all the guests coming in.
Yep. But,
Yeah.
sorry to yell into the mic like that. That was a little too close. Probably blew your eardrums. I apologize. But we have to nominate our chatter. This time, we're putting it into a poll. So, for those of you guys that are in the chat, if you want to vote, we have Rorschach number 1, Arnie Garza at 2, Alex M at 3, Business Decisions at 4. So just press the number of the person you think that had the best chat today. Press 1 for Rorschach, 2 for Arnie Garza, 3 for Alex M, and 4 for Business Decisions. And I didn't spell Business Decisions right. I typed it out real quick, but I'm not changing it. We'll just leave it as that. He'll forgive me later. So, yeah, Jeff's pressing 5, whatever. It's been a good show, man. It's been a good show, and it's only going to get better as we go. And I think, well, looks like we got
unanimous.
Yeah.
Arnie Garza always comes in with some great questions, and
oh god, he's good. Money Chuck was good too tonight.
Yeah, Money Chuck's been fire like our past 3 or 4 shows. Like he comes in and he has like 3 or 4 just great questions or takes that we can talk about. But I mean, everybody, we really appreciate you coming in and commenting. Just it helps make the show run, and that's what we want our show to be about, is to bounce off of you guys.
Yep. And watch 2 people argue on stage over something meaningless.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're not the end all be all of football knowledge. Like, we don't know everything. We're both right and wrong plenty of times.
Watch your mouth, young man.
Yeah, but it's great hearing from everybody.
Yeah. Yep. So once again, Sunday nights, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, and 8 o'clock Eastern Time. We got some people we're going to start fetching to come in, be the third wheel on our show, and have a good talk. Dark Side's usually a good guy to have in here. A couple other guys that we can bring in to lather it up and get it nice and happy for us. But do you have anything else that you want to add? I'm going to close the poll down. Only 4 votes, and Arnie Garza is walking away with 100%.
Yeah.
We can't have that.
Well, you already voted, so you can't change it.
Nope. Nope. But those of you guys that push 5, why don't you pick one of the right ones? It's only fair. So.
Yeah.
So.
No, I don't got anything to add. I mean, is excited. There's finally like real football to talk about.
No.
Especially more so when the pads come on. Like, it's a very good time. Yeah. And we're undefeated right now, so that may be the best it ever gets this season.
It's kind of the reason why. It's kind of the reason why I'm going to the home opener. Why are you going to the home opener? We won't have a losing record when I go. Hopefully, we'll have a losing record when I leave.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, plus it should be ecstatic, like really exciting. It seems like the home opener every year is like really good. Like that's just when the crowd is at its best, because we get sold every single year with a new coaching staff that this is the year. Somehow.
All right. Polls closing. 17 people in here watching, but we only got 5 voters. Only 5 voters in here. I think I'm going to have to do some mail-in ballots. It might take a month to count this vote with all the mail-in ballots. If you don't want the mail-in ballots to count, get in there and push a number. Pick one.
Yeah. I'm definitely high on Jamad McCoy.
Yep, I am too.
He's a very, very high-end talent, and
No.
hopefully his health stays good and he can play with confidence, so he can actually show us what he's really about. But he definitely has the potential to be the best corner in the NFL.
No.
And, like, that's not saying it lightly.
In the words of the great Jeff, you can't argue with the liberal. No, you can't.
Yeah, I don't want to get into politics. Let's call it a show.
No. That's why we can argue. It's easy. Just fucking argue. I don't give a shit. What's it gonna matter? Nothing.
Yeah.
I had an uncle one time that would argue with my dad. And he looked at my dad one time and said, I know I'm wrong, but I just want to argue with you. My dad's like, shut up, get out of here. All right, poll's closing. And the winner is... Salute to Arnie Garza. Congratulations. You are the winner of tonight's show, Super Chatter. I got nothing else. Friday, Pride and Poise, 11 a.m. I'll be running solo on that. Saturday night, Raider Nation Voices with 4-1 Raider Jeff. And then Sunday with my co-host next to me here. We're also going to be working on a studio for him for a solo project to get him up and running as well. He had one, it kind of, but we got to get it in a position where he can execute it and do it on a consistent basis. And then you guys can hop over to him, and if you want just a solid cold glass of Donuts Dunkin', you can go to his show, and he'll be more than happy to enlighten you with his knowledge. And I do not lie when I say, for somebody of his age and his caliber and the knowledge that he has, his mama raised him right. I don't want to give your dad too much credit. Right.
Dad's the one that watched football, so.
Yeah. Well, the scary part is I'm only 15 miles from your dad. I'm thousands of miles from you, so I got to be careful. I look out my window and see Dad out there going, what did you say, young man? Because I still have to respect your dad as well. So, but I'm sure one day I'll get to meet him, and I'm sure he's an awesome dude. But until then, are you ready for next Sunday, or are you ready for this week?
Yeah, I'm ready for next Sunday.
Okay. So in the meantime, we're going to sign off, and you guys have a good night. Thank you for joining us.
Cold open, count it out. Yeah, we heard the talk. Cold nights and long losses, still we walk. Scoreboard hurt, but the heart stayed real. Still wear the black, still flash the shield. From Oakland roots to Vegas dust, pain in the season, but we still trust. They say it's over, I say move on, but Raider pride don't ever gone. Show me your shield, hold it high, don't bend. Show me your shield, ride it out to the end. Win or lose, yeah, we still reveal Raider Nation. Show me your shield. Lost some
Game over.